There's a strange kind of silence that follows success, the kind that lingers after the cameras stop rolling and the applause fades. For Sam Heughan, that silence became the loudest reminder of everything he gained, and everything he lost. When Outlander first burst onto the screen, no one could have predicted the storm it would create. Audiences around the world fell head over heels for Jamie and Claire, their chemistry, their pain, their love that seemed to defy time itself. But what few people realized was that behind the scenes, Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe were quietly building something just as powerful, a friendship so deep, it blurred the line between fiction and reality. From their first audition together, sparks flew, not the kind born from attraction, but from understanding. They moved in sync, laughed easily, trusted each other completely. For years, fans insisted it couldn't just be acting. Interviews became treasure hunts for hidden meaning. A glance, a touch, a shared smile. The world wanted them to be together, needed them to be, almost as if Jamie and Claire couldn't exist without Sam and Caitriona becoming real. But fame has a way of twisting even the most genuine connections. The more people speculated, the more pressure mounted. Every photo, every public moment was dissected. Sam once admitted that fame had a strange way of making private moments feel public. What started as admiration from fans turned into a cage of expectations neither of them could escape. Still, they carried on. Through long shoots in the freezing Highlands, through red carpets and interviews where they laughed off the rumors, pretending not to feel the weight of them. They were partners in every sense, bound by the success of Outlander and by the quiet understanding that few others could ever share. Yet, that closeness came with a cost. There was a moment, one interview in particular, when something shifted. Caitriona, smiling politely, referred to Sam as a dear friend, her tone gentle but deliberate. For fans, it was a small statement. For Sam, it was a reminder. Boundaries were being drawn, walls quietly built. He respected her choice, admired her professionalism. But deep down, something in him changed that day. The fairy tale the world had created around them began to crumble, piece by piece. Behind closed doors, both struggled with their own truths. Caitriona was building a life outside the show, one grounded in privacy and peace. Sam, meanwhile, found himself wrestling with the shadow of Jamie Fraser, the character that made him a star but also chained him to an image he couldn't always live up to. The world saw him as the perfect romantic hero. But he often confessed to feeling lonely, misunderstood, and trapped between who he was and who people wanted him to be. And yet, through it all, there was still warmth, a respect that never faded, even when distance grew. On set, they still shared jokes, still supported each other through exhausting days. But the effortless laughter of the early years had changed. There was a trace of nostalgia now, a quiet acknowledgement of something they could never quite return to. Perhaps that's why, when asked about his time on Outlander, Sam once paused longer than usual before answering. His smile softened, his eyes distant. "It's been life-changing," he said. "But there are moments I wish I could go back and do differently." No one knows exactly what he meant. Maybe it wasn't about love, or fame, or even regret in the romantic sense. Maybe it was about innocence, the time before Outlander became a phenomenon, when two actors could just be friends without the world demanding more. And so, the silence after success grew heavier. The friendship that had once felt untouched by fame was now marked by what-ifs and unspoken words. But in that quiet, Sam learned something important, that even the most beautiful connections can be tested by the very dream that brings them together. Because sometimes, what we regret the most isn't losing someone. It's realizing that fame, love, and loyalty don't always fit neatly into the same story. Under the soft glow of stage lights, Sam Heughan often looks every bit the confident star, poised, charming, unshakable. But behind that calm smile, there's a man who carries the weight of memories that refuse to fade. Over the years, he's spoken of Outlander with gratitude, but when the topic drifts toward Caitriona Balfe, his tone changes, softer, more careful, as if choosing every word means protecting something fragile that still lingers between them. Time has a way of reshaping connections. What once was constant companionship became rare check-ins, polite messages, and fleeting moments on set. Caitriona found stability in her marriage and a life far removed from the noise of speculation. Sam, meanwhile, remained in the public eye, every interview, every red carpet, shadowed by questions about them. Fans couldn't let go of the story they had written in their minds. But what no one saw was how much Sam had tried to move forward without letting go of respect for what they once shared. He's often said that fame isolates you, that even surrounded by people, it can feel like standing alone in a crowded room. For Sam, that loneliness wasn't just about celebrity. It was about watching something pure, a friendship born from trust and laughter, become tangled in rumor and misunderstanding. Every time a headline twisted his words, or a fan insisted they were secretly in love, another piece of that easy companionship slipped away. Still, when Caitriona's wedding became public, Sam didn't withdraw in anger or jealousy. He congratulated her with genuine warmth, standing beside her as a co-star and, quietly, as a friend who wanted her happiness. Yet, in the privacy of his own heart, there was a quiet ache, not from lost love, but from the realization that life had taken them in different directions long before anyone noticed. People close to the production have described Sam as intensely loyal, someone who gives all of himself to those he trusts. That kind of devotion doesn't fade easily. It transforms into nostalgia, into quiet pride, into a bittersweet kind of acceptance. When he speaks of Caitriona now, it's with the reverence of someone who knows exactly how much a shared journey can shape you, and how painful it is when that chapter closes. During one of his more introspective interviews, Sam was asked if he had any regrets about his years on Outlander. He hesitated, smiled faintly, and said, "Every experience teaches you something. But yes, sometimes, I wish I'd spoken more honestly, or maybe just differently." It wasn't an admission of wrongdoing. It was something deeper. The regret of unspoken clarity, of moments where silence seemed safer than truth. He's never said what those words might have been. Maybe he wanted to tell Caitriona how much her trust meant during the toughest years. Maybe he wished he'd fought harder against the gossip that hurt them both. Or perhaps his regret lies in letting public perception dictate private boundaries. Whatever the truth, his silence now speaks volumes, not of shame, but of reverence for something too personal to dissect under bright lights. The beauty of their story isn't in romance that never happened, but in connection that endured. Two people bound by art, respect, and an understanding few could ever grasp. Through every storm of fame, they found ways to protect the heart of their bond, even if that meant stepping back. That's what makes Sam's reflections so poignant. He doesn't regret the love he never had. He regrets the peace he sometimes lost while trying to protect what was real. In recent years, fans have noticed a different tone in Sam's posts. Gratitude mixed with gentleness, a kind of peace that wasn't there before. He no longer hides behind the walls fame built. Instead, he honors his journey, and by extension, hers. Whenever he mentions Caitriona, it's with that quiet smile again, the one that carries both pride and wistfulness. It's as if he's saying, "We lived something rare, and that's enough." There's a haunting beauty in stories that don't end the way people expect. Sam and Caitriona may have never become Jamie and Claire in real life, but what they gave the world, and each other, was something just as powerful: authenticity. The kind that stays long after the cameras stop, long after the scripts are finished. And maybe that's the truth behind all the rumors, all the headlines, all the whispers of regret. Not that he lost her, but that fame took away the simplicity of being just Sam and Caitriona, before the world turned their friendship into legend. Because sometimes, regret isn't about what we didn't say or do. It's about wishing we could go back to when everything was honest, effortless, and untouched by the world's gaze. That's the truth Sam Heughan carries quietly. And maybe, that's the truth fans were never meant to see.